Coach, your weekend? I mean, what have your thoughts been?
I think the young men have really bought into what we're trying to do. I think they're playing hard, trying to play physical, and so I've been pleased with all that. We've put everything in and just keep going over and over and over it. So hopefully we'll keep getting more familiar with it and play well on that. So that's what I've been excited with what they've done so far.
I noticed some guys, John Haynes, Kadir Shepard, weren't out there today. I might have overheard someone say Shepard got hurt yesterday. Can you update us on that?
Yeah, I had to refer that to the trainers and to Coach Luke.
Talk a little bit about Jaquez Jones. We just had him in here. Need a quote or two. What you've seen out of him?
Jaquez we've been playing him at Jack and Mike backer. He's been doing a good job of learning both. And inside there, I try to do that with all our guys because it helps them learn it. But then also, if you have injuries, you can always get the next best player in there. And so he's been doing a good job with that. Coach Coons has done a good job with him. I've been pleased with Jaquez and what he's doing in there.
That was a position that the last couple of years they just not had any depth at all. Are you seeing much depth developing there?
Yeah, I do. I think I think that the guys that played last year, Momo and Willie, have been doing well. And then, Lakia Henry's come in and done really well. We're excited about him and Jaquez. And the other guys are doing a really good job. Zy Baker and Dante, are doing really well in there. Dante's done kind of had taken a step from the spring, I thought, and is playing really well.
How's Sam Williams picking up from the outside?
Good. Sam in the spring he got here, he hadn't played a lot of football because he didn't play his senior year in high school, and he has taken good leaps and bounds. I think that he's even improved his pass rush is what he was known for. He's actually gotten better at it because before it was just run with his big fast body and outrun them, and then you get good offensive linemen that have a lot of really good techniques. He's starting to learn how to use his hands and learn how to set up a blocker, and Coach Nix has done a good job with him.
How much live tackling have y'all been able to do? What are your impressions there?
Yeah, well, you've never done as much live tackling as you would like. Number one, you would get you have injury situations. Number two, the way the rules do it, which are good for us. But we tackle every single day. Now you might say, well, we either take a dummy to the ground or we're tackling each other in concise areas, but it is live but not going to the ground. We do all types of different drills. So every day our first period is pursuit, our second period is takeaways, and our third period is tackling every single day. We're not going to miss that any day at the very beginning of practice. So, and we have a lot of different tackling drills we do. We do tackling drills specific by position. Everybody go, what do you mean? Well, there's different tackling angles a linebacker has usually than a inside nose tackle. Okay, so you practice those. There's different angles that a safety has than a corner has. Different, how they get off blocks, how their leverage is. So we're teaching the guys to understand that, and I think they've bought into it pretty well. So we've worked at it hard and doing as much to the ground tackling as we can. If we can't do it on people, then we're doing it on, dummies and different things like that to simulate wrapping up and doing that type of thing. Because if you don't do it some, then you won't wrap up in the game. And so the guys have responded to that.
Miles was just talking to us a little about depth in the corner room. How many guys do you feel like you can call on at that position right now?
Well, I feel good about, really 1 through 3 as far as how they've been competing. The thing about corner, it's kind of like quarterback when you don't really know till you get in the game because they're such on an island. They're going to get beat every once in a while. How do they respond? Right now they're all competing. They show good athletic ability. And so we'll see as the games go along. But I've been pleased with their competitiveness. I've been pleased with their ball skills, their ability to stay close to the receivers. Coach Clark's doing a really good job with those guys on that.
Who would be your fourth corner?
Oh, that's a great question. We're kind of rotating them all right now. I don't have a definite on that. I've been changing it kind of every day to put them in different situations against different receivers, against different quarterbacks. Because when you go, 1s, 2s, 3s, looks a little different if you're against a different quarterback or the the receiver's not quite as good as the other receivers, you know, that type, or not a good route runner. So we kind of mix them around and we move them left to right. I don't just keep one on the right or one on the left. So we can, you know, evaluate them and also help improve their skills.
What's your philosophy on rotation? Because it looks like Freddie's probably working 9 guys and Jeff's working 6 guys. And
Yeah, well, in practice, you're trying to get everybody as many reps as you can, because you've got to develop depth. Injuries happen in football, so if we're not prepared to handle injuries, it makes it really tough. And you know, sometimes it's hard to overcome injuries. Just ask the Golden State Warriors; they would have won it all. I mean, they couldn't, but they had some plans in place. They moved people around, so that's what we're doing, and trying to get as many guys ready to play as we can.
What are you really gonna be focused on tomorrow during that scrimmage?
I want to see us play with good pad level up front. You always say that, but when you get out there and it's a scrimmage situation, you want to make sure they do their techniques. I want to see us be able to tackle in space and understand that our leverage points that we're doing on defense, they understand where they're coming from, and then and be able to see them handle when adversity happens out there.
Miles,
You know, how they respond to that on that situations.
Miles talked a little bit about that shark position on the defense. Can you elaborate on that, maybe its role and what you like to do?
Well, yeah, we our shark spot is just another DBN for an outside backer, and still keeping our 3-4 front. So you can still do a lot of the same things. So if teams are spreading you out in 10 personnel, you can still play that front and still be good with it, and be able to play some more tight coverage and that type of thing. So that's what it's for.
is Miles like kind of the prototype of that 215 pounds? Is that what
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
looking for?
yeah. He does a good job in there at that nickel spot, and then if they're running, he can be able to set the edge and do some different things like that, and he can cover. So that helps us on that when we use him in that situation.
Who's kind of stood out up front with 3 down linemen?
Well, the guys that y'all would ask about, I think Coatney and Benito look healthy, look well. They've had no setbacks. They've been at every practice. They've gone every snap we've asked them to go. So they've done really well. To me, Tisdale didn't have a fall camp last year, and watching him on film from last year to now, he's playing, he's big and long. Before he stood up a lot. Now he's able to stay in good leverage positions and do that. So I think those guys, but I think all of them have pushed and worked extremely hard in there. So Ryder's gotten bigger, more powerful, so that's good.